You may not know the name, but its impact is felt all around the First Coast. Tonight, as the Meninak Club celebrates its centennial anniversary, we're taking a look at how it's been influencing our community, especially young people. Since 1919, the Mininak Club of Jacksonville has been serving Northeast Florida.
Meninak Club of Jacksonville, the mission is to primarily serve youth in the community.
Composed of business, military, and civic leaders, the club meets weekly to learn about issues facing the community and then finds ways to address them.
We have young executives all the way to retirees and everyone in between. We have a great mix of good-hearted, humble people that really want to make an impact on the community and its citizens.
From mentoring students with Take Stock in Children to teaching financial literacy to kids in Title I schools, the men and women of the Meninak Club strive to lend help where none is available. Over the past 100 years, the Meninaks have given more than $1.5 million to local charities and $575,000 in scholarships to high school students.
What Meninak does is brings people together to serve, takes our minds off ourselves, takes our minds off the negativity, and instead we're making some positive change together and then building relationships.
Over the course of 4,000 lunches, the members have listened to community leaders from all walks of life, from city officials to judges to the heads of nonprofits.
So we try to stay informed of what's going on in the community and have good, robust discussions about issues in the community, but do it very constructively.
Listening and learning, then taking action to make the First Coast a better place.
We don't wait for someone else to solve the problem. We collect our friends together that have like minds and hearts, and we go solve problems. And I think that's what Meninak's all about.
They do a lot of good here on the First Coast, and the Meninak Club meets most Mondays during the lunch hour. If you're interested in learning more about it, I've posted a link. Look for this story on firstcoastnews.com.